AfriShop is an e-commerce platform that caters to Africa. We launched in Zambia and we have been in existence since December, but we are branching into other African countries. So we bring to Africa goods direct from manufacturer from China. So creating a supply chain for order, whether you want one piece or if you're a bulk buyer, you can buy in bulk from us. So that's who we are. And how did the idea come about? Well, a very good friend and sister of mine, Miu, and I kept talking about the challenges that we face with business in Africa. And then she came up with this great idea, and when she told me about it, I'm like, I am game. Let us do this. This is an actual need. There's a gap in the market. There's not enough e-commerce happening in Africa, and that means there's so much potential for it to boom into something so much bigger when you especially look at how it boomed in places like Asia. So one of the major challenges we faced as AfriShop was making people really understand that we are not a physical store. We are actually just an online store, and building loyalty and trust to the brand, because a lot of people assume that with giving your details when it comes to the Visa card, I'm going to get somebody stealing my money. So we introduced mobile money options, understanding the market here. That's not something that, for example, had been done in China. When my friend looked at how the e-commerce space in China works, but this was an opportunity then to start looking at what is happening in Africa, what are people more comfortable to use, and that's when we decided to go with mobile money, and we're currently using MTN mobile money. So COVID-19 really affected our business when it started in China, because it started during the New Year period, the Chinese New Year period, when we were closed, and we understood, okay, business is going to be slow because we'll be closed for a few weeks. But then it went on further because of COVID. That means we couldn't get our deliveries done in time. Our factories, the manufacturers, closed down. So we delayed by over 2 months in delivering goods that should have taken 7 days. So that was a big challenge. But once it hit us in Zambia, China was open again, which gave us an opportunity because some of our manufacturers make protective equipment. And actually, that's how we were able to help some Zambian students and African students. So we've given out 12,000 masks, 2,000 to Zambian students in China, and about 10,000 to other African students in China as AfriShop, because we had access to the manufacturers. So that has come in as a positive for us, because now when Africa needs the protective equipment, we've got access to it, and we're selling it at a much cheaper price than many people are selling it for. Understand your market. And don't generalize Africa as a market. Different marketing techniques are going to work for different countries because the spending culture is different. The knowledge of online business is very different. I visited East Africa. I did a tour of East Africa of 3 countries. So we visited Uganda, Rwanda, and Kenya. And it was interesting to see the diversity in terms of what people knew and what they didn't know, and how they've adapted to some of the online stores already available to them, and what the challenges have been. It was a big learning curve for me. So I would say really understand your market and see how you can communicate to your market. Understand where your initial audience will be. Capture that audience and then start going, out of that audience to try and attract new clients. The supposed discrimination that's going on in China, I'm going to say it in that way. I have a whole team in Guangzhou where all this discrimination is supposedly taking place, and I've had to really find out what is happening. So the actual story on the ground is that those videos and pictures you're seeing of people sleeping outside are actually illegal immigrants. A Nigerian national came into the country, and instead of staying according to self-isolation, the rules, just went about his business, went into the market, and infected 119 people, 5 being Chinese and the rest being Africans. a lot of people were running away from the authorities. Now, something very different from, for example, Zambia or Nigeria. In China, they really listen to the rule of law in terms of the citizens. But us out here already are not listening to the rule of law. There's instructions that have been put out. We should all be wearing masks. You're going out onto the street and people are not wearing their masks. I'm glad to see that your team were wearing masks when I walked in, because that's important. But we don't naturally listen to our governments. So that's becoming a problem in China, because people are firstly illegally staying on longer, so that the government there can't keep track. And we've been very big on supporting the African students who are there. We had some African students get in touch with us to say, listen, I can't access water or medication, and we made sure we facilitated that. But it never had to do with discrimination. Everyone that walks into a store is checked for their temperature. There have been isolated incidents with some restaurants. I hear of a big franchise. One store did have staff that discriminated, and the store took action. So I think for us, it's important to make sure that we give the right information where we can and when asked, like you did. So it's been very interesting that we as a team came up with some COVID-19 messaging outside of just come and buy your stuff from AfriShop. We actually created communication in different languages, because we realized that there was not a lot of communication about COVID-19 in the local languages. So we made some fun, cool graphics that we shared out on social media, shared in WhatsApp groups, so that people can share this information to people that can read anything else apart from English in Zambia. So we used 3 main languages, Nyanja, Bemba, and Tonga, and we shared that. Of course, there's a bit of marketing there, but that's a cool way for your brand to adapt to what's happening in your environment. The need for that communication was there. You do need to market, so you can put your logo there and say where they can get your app from, while giving people vital information that they need. So we just found some cool educational ways of marketing who we are, but also sensitizing on different issues when it comes to COVID-19. It's not always easy to stay motivated as a team. It gets challenging. So as a leader, I have to try and keep on making sure that I make it fun. We have a cool Zoom meeting, and I bring up other issues apart from just work to really find out how each team member is doing. But also, I think some of the biggest challenges have been, as an e-commerce platform that's dealing with goods being imported, I have to mention that it was announced that some things were going to be duty-free, but it was just an announcement. It wasn't enacted. And so those are some of the challenges we are facing, because you are pricing something at a certain price because you feel it will be duty-free, and then you get on and you are charged duty. So that's quite a big challenge and can be rather depressing. We've had issues with the number of flights that are coming into Africa directly from China. So that's causing a delay. So that can be demoralizing. But we're trying as hard as we can to keep each other's spirits up. Once in a while, you find a team member calling me just to give me words of affirmation at the fact that we can do this and we're going to get over it. And I think I would like to advise any other leader that's leading a group of people during this period. We have to be strong, but also allow each team member to understand that we need to be there for each other. It's not an easy period. I saw my team earlier. I think I got to learn a lot from the Chinese team and how they dealt with being out of the office for 2 months and what that did to them, and how my business partner was able to lead the team during that period. I think the biggest lesson from this pandemic has been to be able to adapt quickly. So I'm not making the big sales on what our core business was before, which was more the fashion. I have been able to adapt and look at who else do I have in my supply chain, what are they making that is an actual need. I think every entrepreneur needs to look at the opportunity and the gap. And once you feel that, then you're going to be successful, because there was a need for whatever service or product it is you wanted to sell. So I think that's been my biggest lesson, learning to adapt, having to learn more about, huge bulk orders of maybe 1 million masks, and how do you send that out? Who do you partner with? It's been a huge learning curve for us. So being able to adapt, staying teachable, I think that's something I always give advice. That's the best advice I ever give. Stay teachable. And in this period, staying teachable has been really important because we've had to learn really quickly, adapt, change, realize that the communication has to change now, and having a team that understand that we had planned to do it this way, but now that's disrupted and we need to quickly do something else. So I think that would be the advice I would give. Let's stay teachable, be ready to adapt, and stay motivated even in the most difficult situation. We plan to expand into other countries. We are slowly doing that right now, but I think we're going to go a bit bigger. The tech in e-commerce can be expensive, so we are looking to push more investment in developing the app. We've seen a lot of things that we could do better, so we are working on continuously improving the app and working on the tech of that. I think one more thing I'm going to add is, for a lot of businesses, we've had to let go of some people because we've only had to keep the critical stuff, and that has been very hard, especially when you know that this person needs this job. They are maybe the breadwinner of the family, and I've seen a lot of young entrepreneurs and old also really struggling with having to let go so many people during this period. And I think a lot of people don't understand that it's hardest on the leader especially. So to all the leaders out there that are struggling with this, keep your spirits up. We pray that this is going to end soon and that we can all continue. But also this is a moment for collaboration, where you can collaborate, where you can think outside the box to create something that will be a need in this period. Do it.